Careful.
Yeah, let's video it then, mate. I think I will. Staying in your flat. We are coming to get you. Yeah.
Burn me nuts.
You can't rob the bottom flats. Look at him hanging around. Look at him hanging around.
Today we're going to discuss the Grenfell Tower effigy video. What do you think about it? Do you think it was right? Do you think it was wrong? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Do you think that these people should go to prison? Do you think someone should have told them to stop? Do you think they did it to incite race, wars and hate? Do you think they knew what they was doing? Do you think that if this happened to another ethnic minority, things would be a lot different? Do you think they should be fired from their workplace? What do you think? I know what I think, but let's take this to the barber shop.
I heard that coming, the barber gate.
Too late. You need more than one. God, the little ninja's getting it at the minute.
That's what happens when they don't pay their rent.
Yeah.
Why, it's definitely going to go.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's disgusting. I think we should name and shame those people.
It's disgusting, man. The fact that people would be like so sick in the head to go make a video like that, I think it's a joke.
I think for me the biggest shock was the sheer stupidity of it, that you thought that you can get away with. I don't know, what were you thinking that you thought you can do something like that, have it filmed, obviously show it to your mates, and you didn't think that that's going to come back to you?
I have some thoughts about the people that lost their life and the people that survived. Because the people that survived, they're dying just as much as the people that lost their life. And I think them people are disgusting people, and they're the people that back in the day were lynching children and didn't feel no way about it. They come from a bloodline of lynchers. That's where they come from. Because for them to be able to do that, bare face, and feel nothing, and feel no remorse for the children and lives that were lost, men, women and children, they are a bloodline of lynchers. They're the people that would tie people to a tree and watch them burn and laugh and eat picnic cakes and drink alcohol while they're doing it.
Personally speaking, I think what they did was disgusting. Like, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me. But what I disagree with people, I don't think they should go to jail. Because this happened, don't get me wrong, it's disgusting and they should lose their jobs over it. I fully agree with people when they say, oh, they should lose their jobs. But, their current jobs, I mean. But, should they go to jail? No. This is, at the time of the recording, no one was offended at the time of the recording. Like, no one, like, was there. Yeah. It's just there, they happen on private property. Because if we want to jail someone for this, then what happens when you have a family discussion with your family and you see something that offends somebody later on? Should you go to jail then?
No, people, hold on. People say there's freedom of speech in it.
Yeah, it is the freedom of
private property, and you say what you want.
But there's freedom of speech and there's that.
But that's it, Project. See, this happened on private property. If this recording, it's not like it's a murder, like you caught a murder on tape. It's a bunch of people talking about what they want to talk about in their house. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about in your house.
Yeah, but filming it and streaming it. Filming it and streaming it, bro.
They want
they filmed it and they knew it was gonna go out there and get streamed.
Yeah, I say
they shouldn't go to prison, yeah. But the people that see their face, yeah, their face is out there now. So those people that saw their face, they should pay for it that way. Let the community deal with it. Let the public deal with it. Let the public deal with it. Let the public deal with it.
Yeah, so name and shame them.
Name and shame them. I agree with you on that.
It happened on private property, so if it happens that, for example, if I make a comment to my friend and someone else third party records and posts it online, and someone gets offended, should I now be arrested for a conversation I had with my friend? It opens up a Pandora's box, so I don't think they should go to jail, mostly because there's no specific law that can target them specifically for that specific thing, because the spectrum of the law is too broad right now. But I do believe we should name and shame them.
Once you start policing people's private conversations in their house.
It's not private though, they put it out.
But you see,
well, we don't know if they necessarily put it out. But what I will say is that I think that
it could have been like a video between, like, imagine if I share a video with Alex and then someone copies it, share it to a friend, and then it just blows up on the internet. Yeah. That's not that means that my intention wasn't just private video between me and my friend, but then it's blown up. You know what I mean?
I think that was a shocking thing, because I'm thinking, like, in this day and time, you know that as soon as you put that on camera, that it's out of your hands. So that's the first thing that I was really shocked about.
Yeah.
But I think even more so, like, so you got an issue around the racist views and stuff like that. But then you know what? The truth is, we'll live. You know, if people got certain racist mentality, we, you know,
and if it was English Germans in England, yeah, made the gas chamber and put little Jews inside of there, yeah, and say, look, put Jews in. But they wouldn't get away with that.
If it was a Jew, people were making fun of Jews, making ovens and putting little Jewish children in there, yeah, they will not get away with that. They will not get, but because it's brown people and so-called black people that died in that fire, no one gives a damn.
Let's see who they are.
What kind of punishment they should get? Should they lose their job? Because it had nothing to do with it. Because they were at home, in their own home, yeah, the private property, so nothing to do with their jobs. That's true. And they were jogging. Do you remember last month?
I agree. I'm getting flashbacks of that whole Stephen Lawrence.
In what way for you?
I lived in that area when that was going on. I was never exposed to any of that sort of attack. But to me, it's a deliberate situation where that was put out in the public domain to incite a reaction.
While feeling helpless because you can't really do anything about it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I feel similar.
Yeah. They're attempting to incite some form of reaction.
Definitely, 100%.
Because the thing is, apart from the fact that the act was really stupid, hurtful, insensitive, we're not really learning anything that we don't know about where society's heads at, and the work that we've got to do to challenge that, we've still got to do anyway. So right now, what it's doing is just creating a lot of frenzy energy.
It would be nice to put them in front of the victims of the families and put them in a room, and then they have to explain themselves to the victims of the family why they felt that doing that was funny. Do you know what I mean? Some sort of community service sort of thing. It's interesting that they feel so comfortable to mock the fact that kids were getting burnt alive, but yet, you know, obviously if it comes to things like paedophilia, they'll be outraged, but yet they seem it's okay to talk about kids getting burnt alive. To me, that's a double standard right there. So I don't know what these guys were thinking.
Put their face out there, right? Name and shame them, yeah, and let people out there deal with them. Because you've got some mad people out there. So what? Did they lose their jobs? Them guys?
No,
we don't know.
Not right yet.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
You don't know two wrongs make it right though. So what?
I think the most worrying thing is
two wrongs don't make it right.
People say it all the time, two wrongs, like Big T always says, two wrongs that make a right, two wrongs that make a right. But how long are we going to say that? How long are we going to say two wrongs that make a right? If we try to fight the fire with everything, we've tried love, marching, speeching, crying on camera, we've tried all that stuff. Yeah, we've tried every single thing. We've exhausted what there is to do. Yeah. Then how can you still sit there saying say two wrongs that make a right? That's the last thing we ain't tried yet. And I think another thing is, yeah, this is what we should do. Yeah, in order for the government to hear what we're saying. Yeah, in order for the government to take on board the killings of our children and stabbings and these people do this stupid dumbness, yeah, we should boycott shops. We should boycott shops for 3 months, just for 3 months. And I guarantee you, this country will be at their knees. This country will be at their knees and they'll have to listen to what we've got to say. See what I'm saying to you? So I'm not saying that, I know I'm going off the subject a little bit, but you're saying two wrongs that make a right. What else is there? We've exhausted everything there is to this.
The worst thing is that, let's say it's just these group of people. If we're seeing just this majority doing this stuff, just imagine the amount of people out there that are also doing this behind closed doors.
This is the thing, right? They're going to say this anyway. They're going to have this mentality anyway. They're going to think this. They're going to share these ideas amongst themselves anyway.
And the only way we found about this was
is there some kind of disconnect? Because how can you find that kind of thing?
I know.
Funny. Because people dying. And like,
what is? Because even Terry, they're the sort of people, yeah, that'll get a baby, a black baby, and lynch the baby on a tree, yeah, and nobody will stop it for a nice baby. They'll go, oh yeah, they were lynchers back in the day.
See, this is why I related it back to the Stephen Lawrence incident, yeah, because there was a whole community of people that were sheltering those killers. Right. That were applauding them.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah?
That's right.
It's the same mentality. We've been here before.
Yeah.
The whole white lightning thing. Been here before.
It's obviously an effort to try and spark a reaction from our community. These people, all they know is how to sow poison. It's quite shocking though to see the age groups in that video. I would have expected it to be a group of young people who have no experience and are immature, but I'm seeing grown adults coming into agreement with this hate, with this venom, with this vitriol, and it's shocking, because when you have a group of people who are supposed to be leading and guiding the younger generation to a higher moral standard, and they're failing so epically, where's your hope?
What about image?
Well, we're talking about these people who did this effigy and then they burnt it. We're not talking about the bigger issue, like, for example, like some of the people from the Grenfell Tower still haven't been housed yet.
Yeah,
this happened. Like this, the government promised them 3 weeks they'll be housed. People are still living in temporary accommodation. This is the kind of things that we should actually be focusing on. This is like a small, it's blown up, but it's a small issue. It's like a face scar, while it's cancer. Yeah, there's a small cut. There's a cancer.
That snowball starts small, and you can make it into a snowball.
Understandable. This is a skin cut, and there's cancer that we're not dealing with.
I think the snowballing is in the liberty around what you can say and social media, because the thing is, you're dealing with a new phenomenon where social media gives you the freedom to do things, but then it's like, well, what if? In this scenario, like you said, they said stuff, and at the time there wasn't people who were present that you were offending. I think you said this the other day. So now that maybe it's about laws being modified to cater for the fact that we're now dealing with this new technology, which gives people
where are the controls?
Obviously, with the social media and the fact that things can get so circulated with such ease now, you know, it opens a new can of worms, because at the same time, we say that we want to know who you're working with, but at the same time, as soon as you hear people talking, we get outraged. So, and that's understandable, but at the same time, I do think for the long term, suppressing people from being honest is not going to help. I think it's about, as a society, I think we have to almost upgrade ourselves to be a bit more smarter to tackle people like this, you know. Telling them just to keep quiet because you're hurting me is not going to change the issue, because they just continue to pass down to their generation. And then every now and again, they're going to pipe up when they let their guard down. So if we really want to change, we have to make those changes. We have to change how we think, and we have to be willing to walk into uncomfortable realms to start getting different results.
It is a slippery slope. If we start to legislate free speech, where does the line begin and where does the line end? If you give that level of power to the authorities, it's open to abuse, and our communities can come on the short end of that stick quite easily.
Well, if I had it my way, yes, I would love for them to go into prison, but it's the sad reality of things in which stuff like this is just not going to go into prison for.
I think they need to go to jail, because they need to understand what they did was stupidly wrong. Like, those type of things can proper damage other people and scar people for life. So I think they can go to jail.
Putting them in jail doesn't necessarily tackle the issue. These guys have a certain way of thinking, a certain belief system, and putting them in jail doesn't challenge it. All it just does is suppress it. And I think we've seen how when you suppress certain people, that it only comes out in other ways. I don't know if there's any easy way of doing it. I think for me, ideally, in an ideal world, like I said, is putting them, if you had to give them punishment, it's making them work with the victims. It's forcing people to have to do some community service with people of a different ethnicity somehow. Because one thing that I do believe in is, in terms of racism, at least on a very basic level, you kill that straight away when there's contact. When it's deep-rooted hatred and doctrine, it's a little bit more complicated, because you're talking about being loyal to an identity. And so even though deep down in the deepest of your hearts, you know there's nothing really wrong with these people, a lot of these guys are loyal to teachings that people that they've looked up to have passed on to them. So then it's now about holding on to the doctrine than it is about that actual hatred for somebody, you know.
So people, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, sharing is caring, hit that bell, and we'll see you next time for the next episode of Barber Banter.